PS4 Pro, the console Sony manufactured to beat Project Scorpio, but instead Microsoft whooped their ass, like they do. In this month's log, I will take the liberty of breaking down the specs of the PS4 Pro so you people don't get confused on what you're physically buying. So here we go. Let's start with the 8 Jaguar cores clocked at 2.1 GHz of power. This makes an ideal starting point in the CPU for PlayStation. Although it's not as good as 11 GB of dedicated graphics, the PS4 Pro makes it ideal for first-time use for the high end of gaming. However, for the community of PlayStation, you're not all out of luck. The PS4 Pro has 36 improved GCN compute units at 911 MHz. That's more than double the GPU power of the original PlayStation. This is where the 4K and high dynamic range technology comes in. If you don't have a 4K or a high dynamic range television, then you can render the game at 180p just fine. This brings us to the most important part of the console, the memory. The memory of the PS4 Pro is 8GB of DDR5 RAM, riding up to 218GB per second. Now that's not bad for a console for its first time, you must agree. But the components of the system and the memory bandwidth and the ability to write data faster could be improved dramatically, considering that it's a locked console at 60 frames per second. Speaking of gigabytes, let's talk hard drives, because a lot of people have trouble with this. The main ideal hard drive to target for is 2 terabytes, but ideally you can get away with 1 terabyte hard drive, but it'd be significantly tight with the amount of games you want to install. If you do run out of space, you can buy an external hard drive to make your life a bit easier, but please don't buy a 500 gig hard drive. It's not worth the money. Get a terabyte console for that extra $200. It's worth it. Seriously. The last and most used part of the console is the optical disk drive. Now I know what you're thinking, people, but pay attention. It's extremely useful for newcomers. The PS4 Pro does not support 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs. It only supports standard 1080p high definition standard Blu-ray discs. Now that Microsoft has officially released the specifications for Project Scorpio, it's comparing time. For those people who are on a really fast, expensive internet connection in America, Project Scorpio is more recommended for them. But what about the people in Australia with a poor internet connection and cannot afford massive 100 gigabyte downloads? This is what makes the PS4 Pro ideal for money for the best price. This is also a good starting point if you're new to PlayStation entirely. If you want a console that's reasonably cheap and simple to use, then the PlayStation 4 is recommended just fine if you're trying out PlayStation for the first time. If I were a newcomer to PlayStation, I would probably start with the PS4 Pro.